Toby has on his Christmas collar. Uh, Something amazing happened yesterday. I won something. It's a Christmas item, and I'm not going to tell you about it until it arrives and I can show it to you. But that that was such a huge blessing to win this thing. Christmas has never been the wonderful experience I want it to be. Well, not since my kids were home anyway. Um, and this Christmas, since I can't afford to buy gifts for my family, and that is what I love to do the most. I mean, my kids have always told me, they don't need a thing from me. They have everything they want. If they need something, they can go get it themselves. They don't need anything from me, but I like to give presents. And this year, I'm only doing my two younger grandkids. And everybody's okay with it but me, I guess. But anyway, I was just dreading Christmas. My mom and I were always pretty close. That's another story. We were extremely close because it was always just the two of us during my growing up years. I have a brother 16 years older than me and a sister 8 years older than me, but I don't remember either one of them living at home. Everybody got out of that house as quick as they could. We had such a dysfunctional family. But anyway, my mom and I were very, very close, although I know she loved me, but she made me feel like I never was quite up to snuff. Not quite good enough. I don't know. But anyway, she died right at Christmas one year. So that kind of put a downer on Christmas. She hated Christmas. My family and holidays just don't work out. They just don't. But anyway, I always wanted a Norman Rockwell Christmas. You know, the kind where all your family comes together and there's a beautiful, huge tree and Christmas carols playing in the background and presents for everybody and good food and everybody bringing dessert or something and everybody having a wonderful time. You know, like all the commercials you see during the Christmas season. I call that a Norman Rockwell Christmas. And I always, at the end of the year, always say, well, Norman Rockwell didn't come visit me again. Now, when my kids were home, you know, I really enjoyed them at Christmas time, but it was just us. I don't have grandparents. I don't have aunts or uncles. I don't have cousins. I mean, I have two cousins, but I've never met one of them, and the other one, I've never met him either, but I do occasionally get an email from him. You know, it's not like if he passed me on the street, I wouldn't even know who he is. I have me and my kids. So, and Christmas when I was a kid was very, very meager. And Christmas for my kids, I never had a ton of money, but we had a lot of love. And we had a lot of fun. But anyway, you know, I used to take my kids driving around to see the Christmas lights, and we'd go into these real expensive neighborhoods where there are two-story houses, and all the draperies would be open on the big windows of their living room and their dining room, and you could see people all in there, and Norman Rockwell. Well, anyway, one year I decided I was having that Norman Rockwell Christmas no matter what. I don't have family, but I was going to create one for me. So, there is a church in town, one I don't belong to, but a big church. And they had this Christmas program every year. It was called the Living Christmas Tree. And the ornaments on the tree were choir members, and they would sing, Christmas carols. And uh, that was a real big deal in our town for the numerous years they did it. Well, you had to have a ticket to go see the Living Christmas Tree or hear the Living Christmas Tree. And so I called the office and I asked how many could I pick up, how many tickets. And they said, well, the most they would give one person is 50. So I said, okay, put me down for 50 tickets. Now, my family consists of me and 4 kids. At that time, my sister and I didn't really even know each other. So, me and 4 kids, that's 5. Now I need 45 other members. Why I said, sure, give me 50, I don't know. But anyway, and then I started praying about it and pondering and praying about it. And I got a piece of paper, big yellow legal pad, and started writing down names of people I thought I should invite to be my family. The first person I thought of was this grocery checker at the store where I shopped. She just seemed like a little ball of fun. She was a petite little thing, but she was always smiling and pleasant. And I thought, I want her to be my cousin. So, and I knew she had a husband and a son. So there was 3 more people. And then I worked with the public, and there were people that we were just acquaintances, but I knew, I saw frequently. And the ones that were real friendly to me, that seemed really nice, I started jotting down their names. And then people at my church, there was a bunch of people at my church that were, just very, very good to me. There was one older couple. This lady she had a real pink complexion and snowy white hair. She looked to me like Mrs. Santa Claus. And she was the sweetest person on earth, and so was her husband. I always told her, if I could have chosen my parents or my grandparents, I would have chosen you too. Well, I invited them, and I just started jotting down names. I mean, the names just came to me of who I should invite. And then I wrote a letter and told them, I don't have family, but I want to have a big family Christmas. And so I'm inviting you to be my family for the night. You can be my brother, my sister, my cousin. And this is what I want to do. I have these 50 tickets to the Living Christmas Tree. Well, now, I want to have a meal together, but I can't afford, barely can afford to feed my family. I told them I can't afford to feed 50 people, but I will buy paper cups and paper bowls and plastic spoons and bring a crock pot of soup. If everybody else could bring either a bread or a dessert or a crock pot of a soup or chili, and we'll just have a big potluck together. Okay, 50 people wouldn't fit in my little house. I lived at that time in a house about probably 800 square feet. They weren't going to fit in my house. And, we had a big room at church, but I didn't think it was quite appropriate to ask to use it for that. But I found another meeting room that I could use for free for a couple of hours as long as we cleaned it up when we left. Okay, fine. Now I had a place. Now I had 50 family members, and we had planned out our meal, and we had entertainment. So, one by one, I heard back from all the 45 people I had invited, and they all agreed to come. It was awesome. Now, most of these people, a lot of them didn't know each other. The people I had invited from my church knew each other, but then there were a lot of other people from just all different walks of life, like my grocery store checker, that they didn't know. And so we were in this big meeting room. Everybody brought their crock pot or whatever they were bringing, and we sat down at these tables, and I told them, before we eat, I want to go around and introduce each person and tell them why they're special to me. Because I invited you because when I started pondering and praying about who could I have be my family, your name came up. And then as that happened, I realized we had a special something in between us. So I went around the room, introduced all 49 people other than me. They all knew me. and I said why they were special to me. Oh, it was such a wonderful, wonderful evening. It really was. And then we ate our soups and chilies, and had desserts, and then it was almost time for the program to start at that church. And so we all gathered up and we all cleaned up together and went in our separate cars over to this church, and we all sat together. We had the tickets all for us all to sit together to hear this wonderful Christmas music at this church. That was the closest thing I've ever had to a Norman Rockwell Christmas. I mean, it was really, really wonderful. And it was all different kinds of people, from all different walks of life. Just, I don't even know how I did it, but it just, God had a hand in it. But anyway, we all got along, and we all had so much fun. It was just a wonderful evening. And then we went to hear this Christmas music, and later, one of the couples, they were in a whole different circle than me. They had a lot of money and were sort of influential in the community. She told me that she and her husband had a multitude of parties to go through in December. A lot of places to go. But that this one had been the most fun for them because there was no stress involved. They just brought their soup and had a good time with us and enjoyed the company. And of all the parties that they went to that had far better provisions than mine, this was their favorite one because it was the less stressful. I wish I could say I still had those 49 family members. Well, I do have my 4 kids. But the rest of them, some moved away. One day I went to the store and my grocery checker friend was gone. Life happens. Everybody went back to their busy life. But for that one night, Norman Rockwell visited me, and I had a big family dinner and a good time. And we all went to hear Christmas music together, and it was awesome. So, I'm going to tell you, if you don't have a big family for Christmas, create your own. I happen to know that it works. Oh, that was a fun time. And it's not where I could do that again. Things just aren't the same. But anyway, I wanted to tell you about one of my best Christmases in my life. I'm going to tell you about another one that somebody did for us the year after my mom died. It was the first really special thing anybody had ever done for me at Christmas. And then I'm going to tell you about this item that I won. So check back with me, and I'll tell you about some wonderful Christmases I've had. Okay, guys, Toby, he's not even bouncing around. We are dead tired. Let me tell you what happened. I didn't sleep last night at all, just a couple of hours. And today, I live in an apartment complex. The fire department was going to have their yearly fire alarm inspection, which means they come to the complex. There are about 40 of those fire alarms, the little red boxes, and you can pull something if there's a fire. They come and they test each one. They pull the handle and see if it works. It takes hours of one siren after another going off, and they're loud. I mean, they would wake the dead, and they bother my dog's ears and every other dog in the complex, and it's just never ending. I call it our day in hell. It's just, it is just nerve-wracking and non-ending. And anyway, that was today. So I packed the dogs up. When my daughter had to work a little while this morning, she had to go to school. We just got in the car, 4 dogs, my 3 and her 1, loaded in the car and went and sat in a parking lot away wherever my daughter had to go. We just sat in that parking lot and waited for it to be over. So we're all kind of tired and pooped out. But anyway, that's it. I just wanted to tell you about that Christmas evening I had. It was just wonderful. Okay, bye guys.